Thank you for watching U.S. Classic Muscle Cars. Please enjoy this next video. Like us, share, subscribe to us on Facebook and social media. We're here at Oakbrook today with the 50th anniversary of the Classic Car Club of America. This is a really unique car, and we've got Dennis here with us. He's going to tell us a little bit about the Crosley. Is that right?
Yes. The guy who started the car company, his name is Paul Crosley, and he started making refrigerators, first with radios, and he made millions on radios. Then he started making refrigerators, washing machines, whatever. In the late 30s, he always wanted to build cars, so he started with an earlier version of this, and then he changed the style. This was post-war 1946 style. This is 47. He was the first American car to come out of the chute after World War II, and he was looking at basically getting high mileage with gas rationing after World War II. So this was the first style. Very, very basic car.
Very, very fantastic. So you talked a little bit about the gas mileage.
Yeah.
What about it? Tell us.
They claim these cars got about between 45 and 50 miles a gallon. I think 40 to 45 is more realistic.
Incredible.
Top speed, back then, I think 55 new. It's not interstate worthy. It's just a pretty stressful event.
Absolutely. Great on mileage.
Yeah,
Great on gas, yeah.
And the gas was rationed at the time, so he thought that by 48, though, rationing dropped off and American cars with lower mileage started taking over. So
wonderful.
The car came, should I continue here? The car came with 3 accessories, a radio, a heater, and 2 taillights. This car has none of those. So it doesn't have 2 taillights. That was an option in 1940s. Can you imagine a taillight being an option on a car? Heat, forget the heat, and the radio. Strangely, Crosley invested in radios. That was the company's. There's no radio in this car.
Wow.
So he didn't even promote his own radio.
Interesting.
So very, very basic trans.
Can we take a look at the inside of the car?
Sure. This is pretty much the way it looked in 47. The seats, the color, etc. Very stark. But the seat coloring is exactly the way it was. Cardboard ceiling, pretty primitive. Dashboard basically is it has lights, a choke, and this car came with. I'm trying to think. It came with there's no interior light. I put that in because that wasn't even part of the package. 3-speed transmission. They call it a crash box. And basically that means it's like driving a truck. When you change the gears on any American car now, you're basically smooth. It's called synchro mesh. The gears going very easily. This is like driving. You hit the gear and you'll clunk, and then you go to second clunk, and when you first drive it, you think you're learning all over again. But inside, it has 2 air vents. Right now, this time of the year, with sliding windows and 2 air vents, and it's 96 degrees. The inside temperature is probably around 100. And it just blows 100-degree air around in circles. It's not very comfortable.
Absolutely. What about taking a look at the engine? Oh, at the taillight. Do you mind showing us the taillight?
I'm doing a video for my family when I finish the car, and there's a country singer named Clint Black, and he's got a song in the 90s. It's called "Nothing But the Taillights." So when I pan to the back side of the car, he goes. That's a pair of taillights I'll never see again. Well, it pans down right when the taillight shows, and I did it by accident, but then I said I scored a winner because it has 1 taillight. There's no 2. And that was, again, I said, I think it was a $5 option back in 47. Can you imagine a $5 taillight? So
absolutely.
Let's go with the extra $5. Would you like to see the engine?
We would, yes.
Okay, sure, let's go. The engine was used in industrial or in World War II applications, and then they broke it out right away. They didn't have to do much technology. So the engine was ready. They used it in generators in World War II. They have 4-cylinder engine, overhead valve, which is pretty unique for a 40. I think, in fact, it's the first American car to have overhead valves, which it has a tube here that opens the valves. Most cars have like push rods. They open and close them.
Okay.
The engine is 44 cubic inches, 730 cc's. Like it's a large motorcycle engine. 25 horse. 2 years ago, purposely, I went to Menards and looked at mid-lawn size tractors and found out mid-size lawn tractors have a 24.5 horsepower engine.
Do you know the weight of the engine?
You know, the engine's about 170 pounds. It's got a generator that probably weighs about 40 pounds, and then a starter that weighs about 35. So, strangely enough, those two weigh about as much as a full engine. Easy to take out.
Fantastic. Nice, small, and really interesting car.
It's very, very basic.
Yeah. Do you know how many of these they made?
They made 80, I think they sold 88,000, but up to 48, they sold about half of that, 44,000. So the remaining from 44 to 52, they sold another 44,000. So they started going out, phasing down pretty quickly after 48, 49.
Right.
I was just showing someone that I was looking at a large, two old Corvettes, and the gentleman was apologizing how small his Corvette motor was. And he said he had two dual quads. And what I showed him is a quad would be 4 chambers like this, and he had 2 of them in his motor. This has 1/4 of one of the 4 spiral carburetors on it. So it's very, very tiny. It's really a lawn tractor technologies. But my little story is I live in a local community that I've lived in for 30 some years.
Sure.
And until I got this car, I didn't realize how mountainous Glen Ellen was. There are no mountains, but when you have a Crosley, you can't go up hills. So
Oh, that's fantastic. How is this car to drive?
it's you can't be a moment distracted. It's a lot of work, but not hard. But you got to be thinking, shifting and then downshifting. It has mechanical brakes, which means a bike cable, stepping on a gear, pulling gears to pull the brake shoes.
my goodness.
So you're not overly confident. You don't do anything challenging.
Sure.
You stay on the road and go, okay, we're just driving. So yeah.
That's fantastic. How are you getting it out of here today?
Very carefully.
Yes.
And I'll probably try to follow a large car to pave the way to get me out of here. So yeah, it's good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much
Well,
for
thank
sharing
you.
this car with us.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'd like to show your car next, so please leave us a comment, subscribe, and like us.